What up, athletes? Welcome back to my channel. Today, let's talk about taxes. And the reason why we want to talk about taxes is because it is the height of the news. Donald Trump has been discovered to have paid only $750 in taxes for 2 consecutive years, 2016 and 2017. And for the previous 10 years prior to that, 10 of the 14 years prior to that, he paid zero federal taxes. And so this leads me to the question, why should we pay taxes? Where should we pay taxes? When should we pay our taxes? How should we pay our taxes? And how much taxes should we pay? So in this video, I will talk about how to pay your taxes in Guyana. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so first question is, why should we pay taxes? This is an important question that should seem obvious to people, but in a country like Guyana, where tax evasion is considered a sport, like Donald Trump, people think that they're being smart when they avoid paying taxes. And so for a very long time in this country, independent filers didn't pay taxes, because if you worked for the government, your taxes were automatically deducted in backup withholding. But if you didn't work for the government, if you were private or self-employed business person, then there was no way to track how much you made, and therefore no way to verify that you should pay. And so for a very long time in this country, people didn't pay taxes. And this is true of India, and one wonders whether some of that didn't rub off on Guyana. The feeling that you shouldn't pay your taxes. But we should pay taxes. If you're wondering, if you're a young person coming up and you're wondering why you should pay taxes, I'll give you a couple of reasons. One is because you have a responsibility as a citizen of this country to support the roads and the social safety net and the infrastructure in this country that you use every day, right? So in a country like Guyana, we pay our taxes because it is what keeps the country running. People who don't pay taxes claim that the government wastes money and they don't want to give money to the government because bigger government and fraud and corruption and so on. You might have a point, but that does not give you a excuse not to pay your taxes. What that gives you a reason to do is to vote for the right people so that you get the corrupt politicians out of politics. The second reason why you want to pay your taxes, particularly now, is because if you're a businessman, you have a global footprint now in the world, and especially in the age of global business. Now we have ExxonMobil operating in Guyana, where you could actually get contracts or subcontracts in the oil and gas industry. They are going to be looking at your corporate responsibility. And if you have a record of not paying taxes, then I doubt whether you will meet the international standard for an organization that can do business with international companies like ExxonMobil. So you want to pay your taxes so that you can maintain good standing on a global scale, on a global stage, in a global marketplace. All right, so when should you pay your taxes? In Guyana, the time to pay your taxes is April 30th each year. But because of the coronavirus pandemic, this year, the deadline has been extended to September 30th. That means today, September 30th, is a deadline to pay your taxes. Where should you pay your taxes? In Guyana, we pay our taxes to the Guyana Revenue Authority, and they have a website. I'll put a link to it here. You can go online and pay your taxes online. You can also fill out a form. Same form that they've used all along has now been digitized and is now available online. You can also download those forms from online. How should you pay your taxes? Well, I'll tell you two ways. One is, if you work for the government, you will receive a information slip at the end of the tax year. That's the beginning, usually in January, February, or March, stating how much taxes were deducted from your salary, and you enter that information on the tax form, right? Individual tax form when you file your taxes. And usually they calculate it so that all of the taxes you need to pay have already been deducted. I've done my taxes this way for many years, and it actually works. However, if you have a private company, you will need to keep a record for yourself so that you can determine how much taxes to pay. And so, the final question, how much taxes should you pay? I'm going to answer that in 2 steps. One is to say that you need to keep a record. To be able to determine how much taxes to pay as a business person, you need to keep a record of your income and expenditure throughout the tax year. And the way I do that is I use Microsoft Money. In fact, in previous years, I used to use Quicken, but I found some way back in the 1995, 96, in fact, when Microsoft Money first came out, I started using Microsoft Money, and other programs were never as good for me because I guess I had gotten used to Microsoft Money. So I have decades of records of using Microsoft Money, and it's so convenient because I can simply enter all my expenses as I incur them and all my income as I receive it in the into the Microsoft Money program, and at the end of the year it will compute my taxes for me. Or I can simply produce an income and expenditure statement based on my record keeping in Microsoft Money. So I would recommend, if you don't have a digital or software bookkeeping method, I would recommend something like Microsoft Money, or you could simply create a spreadsheet in Excel or some other program that you use, but keep a record so that you know how much money to pay, how much money you received and how much expenses you incurred, so to determine how much money to pay. And so this year I actually filed my taxes online. I'll put a link to the website here where you can pay your taxes online. It's actually quite convenient, and it meant that I didn't have to go over to the GRA office, and I didn't even have to fill out any tax forms. However, I actually did that digitally. Actually downloaded tax forms, filled them out on my computer, and then transferred that information to the website to pay online, to file online. And so there are 2 bits of information that you absolutely need to know. You need to know how much money in total you made. They will ask you for the various categories in which you made that money, but you need to know how much money you made in total. I need to know your expenses, because you need to file that information separately as an income and expenditure statement. Right, so this year I simply put monthly income and expenses, and I created a document, a PDF file, and submitted that as my income and expenditure statement. And then I simply entered the information required in the table online and click send, and that is how I paid my taxes this year. So how to pay your taxes involves keeping a record of all your income and expenses, preferably digitally in a software package like Microsoft Money or Quicken or some other software package or some other form like Excel, an Excel spreadsheet, and then being able to create an income and expenditure statement based on that. So that's how we pay taxes in Guyana, right? You can go online, you can pay your taxes online. In a future video, I'll give you a detailed breakdown on how to take advantage of deductions if you run a business, so that you don't overpay your taxes, but you should pay some taxes, right? Like Donald Trump said, everybody should pay some taxes. Unfortunately, he didn't keep his own word. Some people like to say, do as I say, not as I do. I always do both as I say, and I do what I say, and I lead by example. So I always pay my taxes, and you should too. I always file my taxes. I've filed my taxes on several continents now, and so I've had experience in various countries. And trust me, paying taxes is good and normal and takes away the headache and the stress of creating a credible business. Anyway guys, that's how I feel about taxes. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. In the comments below, tell me what you think about the current situation with the President of the United States not paying his taxes, and what you think about paying taxes, where you are, how you feel about it, and what you think about paying taxes in Guyana. Remember, you can share this content with friends and family around the world. Like and subscribe. let people know what's happening in Guyana. Later!